Hello everybody and welcome once again to Poetry Surprises. Today I'd like to introduce you to a sequence of poems called Shapeshifter. 10 poems that I wrote as a commission for a literary festival that was taking place in the west of France a few years back. It was an ambitious project, and to start off with I had to visit the town of St Clementin, a town of only 500 people that was set to hold this literary festival. After a visit, discussions, meetings with people, I decided to write 10 poems which represented a walk around the town, a walk of about 2.5 kilometres, and there would be 10 stops. Each stop would have a poem associated with it on a different aspect of village life: religion, food, earning a living, birth, death, you know the kind of thing. Each poem involved transformations or metamorphoses. Now that was really exciting. Mention metamorphoses to a poet and you always get a sort of little frisson. And of course, metaphor is a kind of metamorphosis, but of course it harks back to Ovid, it harks back to the earliest forms of poetry, it harks back to magic. The transformation of one form into another. And each poem I decided would have a different form: a song, an elegy, a fable, a dialogue, a ballad. And this was kind of showing off really, but you want to show off when you're doing an installation and you're walking around with a group of people and you want them to enjoy themselves. So I thought that you had to show not only aspects of life but aspects of poetry as we went around on this tour, which in the end turned out to last about an hour and 10 minutes. Each poem begins with a question, and in many respects, the poem that follows is the answer. The question regards a process of change, a metamorphosis. At the church. You ask me how spirit becomes matter. Here is how spirit becomes matter. Stillness is troubled. Like a feint of wind unpicks a dandelion, sends seeds to drift and fall on unruffled grass. A woodpecker screeches, streaks red-green across the tree-free break. A frog croaks, bees become silent, huddle in the hive, and the air changes weight and scent. Sure sign a storm's approaching. There's a pause as skins ripple, like the leaves on the Indian bean tree tremble before the calling wind. There's a pause as flesh becomes visible, palpable, and wrinkles like fat in fire. Watch as the world shifts shape, flurries, then flings itself around before the first rain falls to bring the storm on fall, and darkness blinks between lightning. Trachea suck down clouds, lungs billow with gales, aorta and jugular swell and burst like rivers in spate. As flesh clothes bone, embraces decay, the lily blanches white and rain washes the mountain into plains. The scent of clay fills nostrils. Then comes thunder like a lapwing wheels and dives, a beat beating in a breast, an engine primed to pump bloody tears, then roar in grief and ache through arms and legs, crotch and tongue. Pain pierces, draws its knife, and gashes eyes, mouth, and anus. Teeth burst gum, chitinous fingers grow, scratch at sores, blood pulses in gouts through pipes, bone brittle, sacrum lifts to watch the sky and strike awe as stars stoke like cinders to choke lungs. Eyes moisten, ears sprout, nose nudges, cranium bubbles round imprisoning brain, that part which makes a whole. breaks the whole into two and many. As racks of the distant deity lever at ligaments, nerves, and vertebrae to stretch them and flex them to snapping until they stand to stumble, fall, heavy, sad, grief-stricken. Every cell longs for escape into dreams, craves community, someone to share fear. Behold, I become man.